So we're in Glasgow at the moment in Scotland, and I heard you once played a gig right up at the top of Scotland at an old fisherman's pub.
We did. We
Yeah,
played
Ullapool?
Yeah.
Ullapool, yeah. We've done a couple
twice.
of gigs. Yeah, we did Lupaloo Festival up there like about, I want to say like 9 years ago. But the first time we went up there was like year 2000, just before we released Free Ill Angels, and it was like we'd done this tour where it was all like voted for online. It was like kind of like early days of internet and stuff. So we just put up all these obscure places to play. And I'm pretty sure there was just like one guy in Ullapool who was just like voting over and over again, because it was like a tiny place. It was like middle of winter, December. It was like proper hurricane winds blowing out, but it was like absolutely awesome show.
So you did your Alphabet tour as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
You didn't make it up that far that time, or?
No, we did.
Inverness?
The weird one we did Inverness. I think
Falkirk.
we did Falkirk as well, which was
And we did East Grange, which
that's
was
right, yeah, which is up near Aberdeen, I think.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we did. Falkirk was like in some pub room as well. Yeah, we got to some pretty interesting places.
It's interesting as well because in the last couple of years you've put out a few compilations and a few kind of retrospective albums, kind of 25th anniversary and stuff.
Yeah.
But the last original material we had from you was over 3 years ago now, I think, back in 2018.
Yeah.
Where are you at now as people in comparison where you were when that album came out, when we last checked in with you?
Well, I guess 2018 was the last album, Islands, and I guess post-pandemic everyone's changed. So yeah, I guess you're always evolving so much over the course of a few years, but.
I mean, ever since we went back to albums after doing the A to Z stuff about 10 years ago, we've had this like sort of dream where we want to like put out albums like on a really regular basis and just get on a roll with it, because like Tim's got like his kind of like writing kind of like
Ritual.
flow, ritual going really well. So he's amassed tons of materials, but it's just like with like pandemics and retrospectives and stuff like that, we haven't quite managed that flow. So hopefully, on the other side of that, we'll get into it, because we've had an album of material ready to go, like pretty much like since 2019. But we had the Teenage Wildlife best of to put out. We're like, okay, we'll focus on that first, and then we had the pandemic as well. So we're just kind of itching to get this new material out.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be next year at some point, but once we get that out, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get on a run with albums and
keep putting them out.
Yeah, the plan is to be more prolific than we've ever been in our entire career. So
that's what we're getting.
That's quite a challenge when you did that thing where you put out a single every 2 weeks for a year.
Yeah.
Well, just have to put out an album every 2 weeks.
Yeah. The only way to beat that is by doing 3 albums 1 year or something. Yeah.
What is the rhythm of your workflow like? How often are you kind of putting a song down on paper?
Well, if I sort of get into a lot of writing flow, I'd do a good writing session every week where I try to do a day of just writing and try to aim for. Well, I used to aim to try to get 10 songs in one day. It's just bombardment of, there's a lot of rubbish songs, but there's always a few gems amongst it. So, yeah. I learned this thing of quantity over quality.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's turning off the critical faculties while you just write. Don't judge what you're doing, and that way the bangers come.
But even if you don't get like a full complete song, you might get little bits which can be like pieced together as well.
Yeah, or some idea that you might revisit later and redo. Yeah, good starting points. So if we're kind of in a writing flow, there's quite a lot of songs being written every month. Yeah.
It's interesting what you were saying about, piecing the various bits together from different songs. How would you actually go about doing that? Are you looking for things that are kind of quite emotionally similar, or how do you put two things together that are separate?
It has to sort of work.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, okay, these two songs, that song's got a great verse, but the chorus isn't great, and that's a great chorus, but a good verse. And you're like, if they're the kind of same tempo, right kind of pace and vibe, sometimes it works, but half the time you Frankenstein something together, it doesn't work.
Burn Baby Burn was probably our most well-known song, which was kind of like 2 different bits put together.
Yeah, Burn Baby Burn was like, we tried to record it for our second album, but the chorus wasn't particularly strong, and then I remember we were always like, that was a brilliant intro and a great verse, like someday if we get the right chorus, the song will be awesome. And then one day I was like driving the car and I was like, that chorus started popping in my head, and I was like, maybe that'll connect onto that one, and it did. So yeah, if you sort of keep it in the back of your mind for long enough, sometimes the right thing will emerge.
It's interesting as well, you know, we touched upon the Alphabet series that you did where you were putting out a single every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even your last time as well, you know, you keep pushing forward creatively. Do the parameters that define your comfort zone ever stop changing, or are they constantly moving and shifting apart?
I guess it kind of changes because we tend to go between wanting to experiment quite a bit on one record, and then we sometimes want to just get. The next we tend to react against it and want to go back to like something that is just the live sound of the three of us, you know, and then so yeah, we seem to sort of flip between wanting to be more experiment in studio and then wanting to then go back to make a record that's a good live, live record. So
and then we have times where it's like we'll do stuff. We're quite structured with it, methodical. We'll like demo the song, make sure it's like we got everything sort of like pre-planned, and other times it's just sort of like writing it and let's get it done, get the excitement. So yeah, we flip between these like different states.
Yeah, and sometimes it also works between doing something that's very poppy and accessible to wanting to something that's you'd never get on radio ever in a million years. Yeah.
The new album, which comes out next year, it'll probably be our most schizophrenic album yet, I think.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably like A to Z, but even more extreme.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place.
Yeah, A to Z was a really good one because we were putting out a new single every 2 weeks. It was like we wanted to make them all really different, and it was the opposite of trying to make a coherent album. We were like, we want to surprise people every 2 weeks.
Was it ever tough after you stopped doing that? You know, when you get into that rhythm and you kind of get in that buzz every 2 weeks from releasing something, how did you cope after that stopped?
It was tough. Like it was pretty exhausting, but we also were like touring quite a lot in between, and you know we'd sort of be on the road. It sort of broke the rhythm that we used to have of doing an album, then going on tour, and taking a bit of time off writing an album, and then repeat the cycle. So it was a much more mixed up year, but we were just exhausted by the end of it because it was quite.
We were also like
yeah.
released it on our own label, so it was
we were trying to
all that
label.
side of stuff, which we weren't really used to doing. So 26 singles released, doing all the artwork, trying to do videos and everything. It was like a lot.
Speaking of videos, we saw some of the footage from Slashed.
Right.
Was that in the A to Z series, or that was just before it?
That was more like 2002 when we were touring America a lot. Yeah.
A little bit before.
Yeah.
With these.
But we cut one of the songs from A to Z to one of that footage. Yeah, binary video. Yeah.
I mean, with all these couple re-releases that you've done, can we expect any more of the footage from that to emerge?
Well, there's not much left. That was kind of the best stuff from it, really, and it was never finished. That was the trouble with Slashed.
It would need a really big rewrite to ever be finished, I think.
Yeah.
The only way to finish it, I think, would be to animate all of the scenes that we didn't finish.
A bit like a Kill Bill type thing. Yeah.
That could be fun, maybe. Someone wants to pay for that.
Yeah. We just need claymation.
Like Morph.
Yeah, Morph. That'd be quite fun.
How does looking back at this past material impact your perspective on what you're doing right now and what you're creating at the moment?
Well, yeah, I guess we always return a lot to the old material because we're on tour. You know, people just love to hear the old stuff, so it's quite often in our minds when we're. It's easy to compare it, I suppose. But I guess when we are writing new stuff, we are just wrapped up in the excitement of doing something new. That's it, you know.
I think that was probably most apparent when we decided to go back to doing the album format again after the A to Z thing, because you know we felt like we'd announced we're not going to do any more albums, so it was kind of weird going back to it. We felt like we really had to live up to like 1977 and Free All Angels kind of thing. So I think once we kind of proved to ourselves that we could do that, it's kind of like
took the pressure off.
Yeah, we get over that. We're just great.
There's also this inherent kind of like reaction. So like after we did 1977, our record company was basically like, go and make that album again, and we reacted to that by like doing Nuclear Sounds, which was very, very like different. It was dark, quite darker ballads and heavier songs, but not like the punk pop thing which we were known for. So whenever we said we're never going to do albums again, we said that. So to react to that was the natural reaction to that is to do albums again.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
So basically, whatever we're told to do, even if it's ourselves,
We'll do the
we'll
opposite.
do the opposite.